should watch.
Hi guys, welcome to the unofficial. I'm a little bit behind because I've been having a few vacations, and this week actually is calling it unofficial for me. My family is visiting from Washington. I'm about a week late from Tegan's video. She did Outlander about a week ago, so you should watch her video on it. I'm a little bit behind because I've been having a few vacations, and this week actually is another vacation for me. My family is visiting from Washington. Yay, that's exciting. I've been doing lesson plans for a sub for a whole week, and it's just so frustrating. It's so hard. The only way I can describe it is to go like this. So it's not fun. So yeah, this is my book review on Outlander. Okay, so before I start on the categories, I want to give a brief synopsis of the book. So Outlander, here it is. Outlander by Diana Gabaldon is a little bit different from what we've been reading. It's not young adult literature. It's actually historical fiction, which is my favorite genre. Tegan knows that. I love historical fiction. So you can bet I was excited to read this book. The book is from the first-person point of view of our protagonist, Claire, and it is set in the year 1945, right after the end of World War II, where Claire and her husband, Frank, are on a second honeymoon in the Highlands of Scotland, trying to reconnect after their many years separated while the war was going on. And while there, Claire stumbles across a kind of magical stone that transports her back in time 200 years to the year 1743. There, she meets a slew of interesting characters. She meets her husband Frank's ancestor, Jack Randall, who is actually the villain of the story. She also meets a young Jamie McTavish, which changes her life forever. So that's just a brief synopsis of the book. I don't want to give anything else away. Just know that she's torn between her two lives, and she struggles throughout the book to figure out where she belongs, and it's just a fantastic book. Okay, so the first category I'm going to do is plot, because I feel like that kind of runs straight from the synopsis into the plot. The plot of this book is very interesting. It's not a new plot. It's happened before. There are many books about traveling through time, many TV shows and movies as well. So it's not a new concept, the plot itself. But for me, it's a little bit different because I've never really read much about Scotland, and I find it actually really fascinating. And so the plot, where it's actually set in Scotland and it has a little bit of that magic and old tradition, superstition kind of stuff in it, makes it really interesting. On top of that, just the way that Diana Gabaldon structures the plot makes it super interesting. There's so much that happens in this book. It is almost 700 pages. That's a lot. And so there's just so much stuff packed into it. And there's actually, I think, like 6 more books or 7 more books. I'm not sure how many more books in the series. So apparently she didn't run out of ideas. They keep going, and I'm quite excited to one day, when I have enough time, finish the rest of the series. So for plot, I think you can guess I gave it a 5 out of 5. So from there, I want to go to character development. This is probably one of the best things that Diana Gabaldon has done. It's not only an interesting plot and an interesting story, but her characters are just so well crafted. They're complex, they're smart, they're stupid when they need to be, they're real. These people are just, they come alive. You read them and they're right there in front of you as you're reading. You can see them. Claire, our protagonist, is such a strong character. She's a strong female lead character. And Diana Gabaldon does a really good job of constructing her and showing her transformation. Not just her, but also the other characters well, watching them change from the beginning of the book until the end of the book. You watch them grow and change and the decisions that they make, and everything just kind of shows the type of person that they are. And Diana Gabaldon did such a great job on not just her main character, but all of the supporting characters are fantastic. They're all complex. They're all real people type. Some of them are kind of scary, but it's not unreal as well. So I gave character development a 5 out of 5. Next is readability. I would say that this book is quite easy to read. You kind of just flow through it. There are some parts that are a little confusing. There are some in parts that are in Gaelic, and also parts that are in the language of that time, even though it's in English, you can. So it's just, some of those parts make it a little bit more difficult to read. You have to really follow close along. But it gives you so much information about just Scotland at that time period. It makes it so authentic. It feels like it actually is, you're reading a book that has all that information about the 18th century Scotland. So that's super interesting. So for the readability, I will give it a 5 out of 5. I'm not taking any points off for the fact that it's in Gaelic and authentic English in that time period, because I think that it just adds to the story. I don't think it takes away from it at all. And even the readability, I think that if you can read, then you can do fine in it. So I'm still going to give it a 5 out of 5. So next is cover art. So let me show you the book one more time. This is Outlander. So it's just a simple dark blue with some type of crown thing on it. It doesn't really have any other characteristics. That's pretty much it. I would say that I really like the dark blue color and I like how simple it is, but I would give it a 4 out of 5 just because if you're looking at the book while you're walking around a bookstore, you're not going to grab it and read it without having heard about it. I heard about it from Tegan and I had never heard about it before, so I don't think that if I had seen it in the store that I might necessarily would have bought it without turning the back over and reading the back, because after I read the back, then I would have read it, definitely, because the back is really interesting. So just the cover art itself is a little bit blander than it could have been, but I really do like the dark blue. That's probably like my favorite part. And my last category is enjoyment. I think you can guess that I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. I absolutely love this book. It took me a long time to read it, but only because I was super busy. If I wasn't super busy, then I would have flown through this book in a day or two, maybe even less. So this book is wonderful. It's fantastic. I enjoyed it immensely the whole time. There were some parts in it that had a bit of sexual content, so if you are squeamish at that kind of stuff, maybe the book's not for you. Some of it's pretty racy, but if you can handle that kind of stuff and you can get through it, then I would definitely recommend reading this book. I enjoyed it a lot. So 5 out of 5 for enjoyment. Alrighty, so that wraps up my book review for Outlander. My total would, if you calculated it exactly, it's probably like 4.9998 or something, but I'm just going to round it to 5 like Tegan did, because that just makes it simpler and it just proves that this book is fantastic. So 5 out of 5 for Outlander. If you have the option to, you should read it, or you should watch the TV show, or you should do both. I actually recommend reading it, but I have started watching the TV show because Tegan told me that there was a TV show, and now I'm pretty hooked on that as well. So both are good. They did a great job on the TV show. That's neither here nor there, but in case you were wondering. So next week, Tegan and I will be stepping back into our young adult literature genre, and we're going to be reading the book Legacy of Kings. I actually found this book while I was wandering the shelves of Barnes & Noble when I was bored one day, and I stumbled across it, and I actually read the whole first chapter while I was in Barnes & Noble, and then decided that I should probably buy this book. So that'll probably tell you a little bit that it's also fantasy again, because young adult fantasy is probably our favorite thing. So look forward to next week, where we will post our Legacy of Kings book review. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to click any links below. Give us any suggestions for books. We're open for anything. Let us know how we're doing. Subscribe to our channel. Watch our videos. Whatever you want to do. Read the books we recommend. All right. Thanks. Bye.